How is everybody doing today? And in this video, we are going to be talking about something that happened in my last video when it came to the Aventurine tier list or sustained tier list. And a lot of the things that I want to say, a lot of things were taken in the wrong way. A lot of things were skewed in the wrong direction when it comes to how I was thinking about Luocha, how I was thinking about other characters. And so today, I do want to clear a lot of stuff out. And I do want to also point out that I'm going to try to be the head of what I'm trying to say in regards to a lot of the content creators thinking the way we do about Luocha, and I'm going to explain the thought process thoroughly so that this doesn't get in any way, shape, or form thrown in the wrong section or thrown into the wrong direction of what I'm trying to say, because a lot of content creators and a lot of theory crafters, a lot of like big meta heads, we all think relatively the same when it comes to Luocha and its value. And by far, every single person you can ask, whether it be me, another content creator, another theory crafter, any type of person, is that we've never said that Luocha was bad. We've never said that any of the sustains at the current moment, whether they be a 5-star sustain or some of the brand new 4-star sustains, are bad. The thing about what was said yesterday, I guess it was taken in the wrong way when I said that Luocha wasn't keeping up with the brand new sustains, that he doesn't provide a lot of value. While that is true still, I think that got taken as he cannot clear content, he can't do what he used to do, and all that type of stuff, which was not the case. So I do want to talk about that. Luocha at the current moment in the game and so many other sustains are still able to clear content up to MOC 12, up to Golden Gears, Pure Fiction, all these different type of modes. This is possible with every sustain in the game at that current moment. There's a bar of difficulty in this game, and every sustain is over it for the most part. Besides, I don't know, maybe you can use Natasha. I haven't used her in so long, so I'm just going to leave it at that. But for the most part, every 5-star sustain can 100% clear all the way up until MOC 12, clear all the way to the max stage in Pure Fiction. Same with Golden Gears, same with Swarm Disaster, is possible with every single sustain. Not one person that I know that I've seen, and also me included, has said that Luocha was bad in any capacity, because he still can clear content with a brain dead type of behavior when it comes to how he plays. He auto heals, which is absolutely amazing. He auto cleanses, which is absolutely amazing. He has a field that gives off turn DPS, which is really nice. But when it comes to Luocha versus a lot of these other sustains, they are providing a lot more, and they have their best in slot teams that Luocha just doesn't have at the current moment. He's still good as a character, and this is why at the beginning of my other video I said that if you have 2 sustains currently on your account, if you're able to be MOC 12, if you're able to be Golden Gears, Pure Fiction, all these other endgame modes, you don't need Aventurine. And I still stand by that you don't need another sustain, unless by far you either want to complete a team like how Aventurine completes the follow-up team, or if you want to go ahead and just get a character because you like the character. That is what I said for the 2 sustains that you possibly have on your account, because if you can clear all the content, there's kind of no need for a new sustain if you can already do what you need to do and your team is kept alive at that point. There's no reason to go ahead and roll for a new sustain when you can get a brand new DPS, play a new type of team, play a new type of style, or you can get a Harmony character that can buff up other teams, enable more compositions, and all that type of stuff. Sustains by far, when it comes to clearing out both slots for your team, unless they bring out a 3rd slot for MOC, there's no real reason to get another one unless you really like the character. And to go ahead and also explain thoroughly more in regards to what I'm going to bring out, is that I want to show you right now what I meant by Luocha at the current moment is not where he would love to be in regards to where he was in version 1.1. And I have every sustain for the most part separated besides Fire MC and Japar, because I feel like they give slightly the same amount of utility when it comes to what they're able to do, which is I taunt, I give debuff for Acheron, I give debuff for Ratio, and that's pretty much why I clumped them together. In all honesty, they both cover the same aspect in regards to a DPS that would want some type of debuffs on the enemy. So right now I have all the notable DPS at the current moment in where I would put them with their best sustain if they could so choose one. And this is where I'm going to show the pros and cons of each sustain and show why the utility for a lot of these guys are very important, while some of these characters lack in what they would want and something that used to make them very good. Now I want to go ahead and, like I say, pinpoint something with Luocha, is that when he released at 1.1, and this is the state of the game at this point, Luocha at this current moment, he is not where he used to be in version 1.1. In version 1.1, as you may know, I started day 1 when this game came out. I've taken my journey from 1.0 all the way until 2.1, which is insane that we're already here at this point. Luocha was a god tier character by every means, and no one can dispute that fact when he came out in version 1.1. He was going to keep you alive. He was going to make sure you were cleansed. He was going to make sure you had max health literally every second of the battle, because how great his healing was. There was literally no such thing that could one-shot you, and there was nothing that could kill you because Luocha was on the team. If you summon for Luocha, that was by far your best investment when it came to version 1.1 1000%. And guess what? He's still perfectly used in 2-point run and can still keep your team alive, which is the main point that I want to talk about, is that he does his job. He can keep you alive 100% and help you get to that MOC 12, help you get to the last stage in Pure Fiction, and also Golden Gears and Swarm and all that type of stuff. All the different type of end game modes Luocha can get you. But when it comes to the future sustains and what they're able to provide, when it comes to REHOO, Fushun, Aventurine, they're now becoming Harmony characters, giving you a fat ton of different resources that Luocha doesn't give. You also have characters like Lynx and Gallagher as well, who are able to provide a slight bit of utility for their niche type of characters, which give them a little bit more benefits to use than someone like Luocha. Same thing with Fire MC and Japard, which I know I kind of gave an exception when it came to Japard and Fire MC the last video. Now that I am sorry about, because yes, they do have their own utility that they can use for Akron herself, or even Dr. Ratio if you so choose to use that. So we're going to be talking about that in this video for sure. So basically, I'm going to go ahead and explain these sustains and what they do for these characters that are in the DPS, I guess you could say, category. These are all of them notable DPSs for the most part. Everybody else is support for the most part down here, so I left them down there. And I'm going to be explaining why these characters will love this character and why these characters want to be with that sustain, because that's their best in slot sustain. And I kind of want to show you the difference in regards to who loves these characters, who doesn't want to be on these teams. So for Sele, we could already put her with Fushun, because Fushun, of course, is Quantum. This is going to enable the mono Quantum team, and Fushun gives the CC prevention, the crit rate boost, all that different type of stuff. Already Sele is number one, 100%. This is undoubtedly the truth when it comes to these two units being together. Clara used to be with Lynx. That was their niche use for Lynx, so that was a really cool option to have when Lynx came out. But now that Aventurine's coming out, they kind of flip-flop. Clara can go for Lynx for the increased aggro, or you could go for Aventurine with your ultimate. Not only are you going to be getting hit for sure, but you're also going to be able to do a follow-up attack with Clara, which enables Aventurine to get a blind bet point, which allows you to keep your shield up infinitely for the most part, because that's where all of Clara's damage ends up coming from. So Clara is now going to be in a situation where she has two best in slot sustains, depending on the situation and depending on which team you want to put Aventurine on. If you want Aventurine to be with Ratio and Topaz, then guess what? She can go with Lynx. If not, she's going to end up being with Aventurine. So that's that character in which sustain she would really want. Going into the next one, Jing Yuan. Right now at the current moment, he has two best in slots, which is either REHOO when it comes to the attack and energy that you could possibly put on Jing Yuan, giving him his Lightning Lord, giving him a little bit bigger of a boost for his damage, or you can go ahead and put him with Fushun, which I see a lot more people like Fushun with Jing Yuan the most, because of the CC prevention, which is a huge thing to have, which enables him to not have to worry about Lightning Lord getting pushed all the way down, and also it gives him a bit of crit rate as well, which allows him to be more consistent in the damage that he does, which is a very big thing to have when it comes to his Lightning Lord that he has for his follow-up attack. So we're going to put him with Fushun at the current moment. Next one is going to be Kafka. Kafka, we know undoubtedly that's going to be for REHOO. The attack boost is really massive for the dot team, and also the energy that you would get for the dot team, whether it be Black Swan, whether it be for any of the other dot characters, especially for Kafka. She can re-trigger everyone with her dot, and now she's also doing more damage because of the attack boost from REHOO, so that's absolutely amazing. Yanqing at the current moment is going to love Aventurine, because Aventurine stops Yanqing from losing his Soul Steel Sync, so that's the utility that he's going to provide. And also Yanqing is able to give a follow-up attack for the blind bet point that you could possibly get. It's not guaranteed, but this is by far Yanqing's best friend, because this is a most constant shield that he could get, and also can benefit Aventurine from the follow-up attacks as well, and gives him a little bit more crit damage dealt, which is a really nice thing to have for Aventurine with this ultimate for Yanqing, because guess what? Now Yanqing's guaranteed crits are going to hit even harder, so this is even better solution for Yanqing's problem that we are going to give for Aventurine, because his shield comes from his skill, which is a lot more easier to pop up instead of a Japard, which Japard has a really nice shield, but more constant and almost infinite shield that would go to Aventurine. The next character for Argenti, we all know is going to be for REHOO, and as you can see, the big three up here for sustains are basically taking all these DPS at the current moment until a couple of moments later, where we'll be diving into the rest of these characters. But right now, Argenti, of course, he loves energy. He has the highest energy bar than anyone else in the game at the current moment. REHOO is going to give him that attack, REHOO is going to give him that energy, and this is going to be absolutely one of the best pairings for Argenti. The next character is going to be Arlen. Right now, I honestly think is either going to be between Japard and Aventurine, but since Aventurine is going to be able to do infinite shields, he's going to be able to do damage as well. He can keep Arlen alive with his 1 HP when it comes to his skill and his talent, keeping him the lowest that he can possibly be at, and also give him the max amount of damage boost, while also helping him with the crit damage dealt debuff as well, coming from Adventurine's ultimate. So we're going to put Arlen with Adventurine. Next character is going to be Topaz. We already know it's going to be Adventurine. Adventurine is going to help out Topaz with the follow-ups, which is going to boost Numby forward. Numby is going to give blind bet points to Adventurine, crit damage dealt buff, all that different type of stuff. We already know Topaz is going to be with Adventurine. Blade at the current moment is going to be with Lynx, because Lynx is going to provide him the taunt that he wants for his stacks. I showcased this on my stream, and I might be putting up a clip as well. But when you look at why Lynx, because someone did ask, why would you consider Lynx better than someone like Luocha? And when you look at the footage that I might be able to show, in case I didn't put on the screen, I did end up showcasing a Blade showcase with Lynx and a Blade showcase with Luocha. The big defining factor that we were able to see is that Lynx was able to give Blade basically 99% of the hits directed towards him, giving me almost infinite follow-up attacks at that point, while someone like Luocha, who is a godsend for healing and keeping everyone at max HP, now everyone's taking the hits that Blade would have wanted, and now he's not getting as many follow-up attacks. Although Lynx has slower heal, or also a little heal in compared to Luocha and how massively big his heals are, it still takes away the fact that now you have a DPS loss, and now Blade himself isn't able to boost the damage that he would have thrown out if he's able to constantly follow up. And now Lynx is not basically giving him that benefit of being able to get hit multiple times, and also she boosts HP, which helps out Blade even more. Not only is she a slight damage buffer for Blade, but she also gives him the taunt that he would want to non-stop follow-up attack, while Luocha, he can keep the team alive 100%. Now we're losing out on the fact that Blade can get buffed from Lynx, and we're also losing to the fact that there's less RNG, or more RNG actually, when it comes to Blade getting hit and giving all those follow-up attacks that he would want. So at the current moment, I still think Blade is by far the best with Lynx, and I'll try my best to show the footage so that you can see the difference between Blade and Blade with Luocha and Blade with Lynx, because the follow-up attacks you get with Lynx is insane versus the comfortability and the sustain that you get with Luocha. Now Blade is suffering from not doing enough damage because he doesn't get enough follow-up attacks. Now for the next character, when it comes to the DPS list into the sustain, we have Jingliu, and Jingliu at the current moment, she can actually fit on so many of these different sustains. It's not even funny. One could be for Adventurine for the crit damage dealt, and also just to overall keep the shields up with Adventurine. There's really not that much that she needs a proper sustain for it. She can also benefit from Fu Xuan. You could even say she benefits from Luocha keeping the team alive, but she takes so little HP. You could rather want a more offensive boost than you want sustain for your team. So going ahead, you could either put her on Fu Xuan to get that crit rate for Jingliu so you can oversaturate yourself with crit damage, or you could even give yourself more attack with an energy boost, which allows her to stay in her form a lot longer if you're able to do enough skills to get you that extra ultimate, and then you're in your form for even longer, doing massive damage 100%. So when you're looking at Jingliu with how resourceful she is already, you don't really need a fat ton of sustain in regards to healing your team, because she takes so little from the team anyway. So right now at the current moment, if you were to give someone a nasty amount of attack and energy, keeping them in their form longer, REHOO would be able to perform a little bit better for Jingliu, or possibly even Fu Xuan for the crit rate. Either of these two would be very great for Jingliu. As you see, with Jingliu losing HP, you would assume that at the current moment she works with Luocha perfectly, which she does at that point. She 100% is going to keep the team alive, or Luocha is going to keep the team alive with the passive healing that is going to help out the full entire team, not have to worry about Jingliu's draining. But since Jingliu's draining is so small, you can honestly go for and help out with REHOO, giving her the energy for the extra ultimate, for the damage boost when it comes to the attack boost. I think REHOO or possibly even Fu Xuan would be a great pickup to be able to give Jingliu when it comes to their DPS. Acheron at the current moment is going to be with Japard and also Fire MC, because of the taunt with Trend Universal Market. That is going to be by far one of the best synergies with Acheron, because you're getting non-stop stacks for your ultimate, making you ultimate 3 to 2 times in a cycle just by having these guys getting pummeled down with Trend Universal Market. Absolutely great synergy. And not only that, you could possibly even give it to Gallagher as well, because he is able to provide debuffs while being a sustain, one on the ultimate and then one on the enhanced basic attack, which heals the whole team. Gallagher is a really great sustain when it comes to all the teams that he can be on. And as you can see right now, Acheron's able to flip-flop between the two, because he gives debuffs which synergize with Acheron. So you can pseudo put Acheron in Gallagher's tier, but you could also pseudo put them on the Fire MC and also Japard tier, because he's able to give the taunt which allows him to get hit, which allows him to benefit from China Universal Market. So I'm going to go ahead and put these guys together. Dan Heng, as we know right now, a lot of people love to say that Luocha at the current moment would really like Dan Heng because of its SP nature, SP positive nature. But when it comes to Dan Heng and also the amount of ultimates you can get with REHOO, you don't really need 100% of Luocha if you have Sparkle. And if you don't have Sparkle, which I know a lot of people talk about, there's also solutions like Hanya, which we had earlier. A lot of people were playing with characters that weren't Sparkle before she came out. I could 100% put someone like Dan Heng with Luocha, but you can also put him with REHOO as well for the attack boost and the energy boost. I know this looks like I'm picking and choosing, so I'm not denying the fact that Luocha can go with Dan Heng, but you also get more benefits with REHOO going with Dan Heng, just because Dan Heng is able to get that attack boost, which helps out in damage, and also give him the energy boost, which allows him to get his 2 free skill points 100% back. And this is just a really great thing. You don't have to worry about the cleanse cooldown that Luocha has, because REHOO, if she has her thing up, and she is still skill point positive, because you don't have to cleanse every single time, or you don't have to re-up it every single time. You're not going to be getting hurt that much if you have Dan Heng on the field, being able to evaporate enemies non-stop. So it could go either or. Either Luocha has it with Dan Heng, or you have REHOO with Dan Heng. Either or, you have a 50-50 when it comes to Dan Heng, which you're able to use. You can get more comfortability or a little bit more comfiness when it comes to having Luocha on the team with Dan Heng. But if you want to boost his offensive nature even more, someone like REHOO is going to 100% love Dan Heng and can be used with Dan Heng 100%. So it does look like it's a 50-50 here that you could put between REHOO and Luocha. But right now, if you were to do that, only Luocha has one character, and this doesn't boost his offensive capability, but it does help him out slightly with the skill points. Now, if you were to have Sparkle, it immediately goes to REHOO, because then you're able to boost Sparkle's energy gauge. You're also able to boost Dan Heng's energy gauge, which is going to help out the team a lot more and keep the skill points flowing like crazy. So in under certain conditions, REHOO 100% wins that fight. But if you don't put Sparkle into the equation, then Luocha and REHOO share that spot. So I'll just, for the sake of it, leave Dan Heng by Luocha, but he can go between REHOO and Luocha. The next character is Ratio. Undisputably, we know is going to be with Aventurine. Follow-up attacks is going to help Aventurine's shield. He's going to be able to follow up, reapply it. Numby's going to help, then Aventurine, then Ratio, all that different type of stuff. And then Sushang at the current moment doesn't see a lot of play when it comes to what she's able to do. You can put Sushang with Fushwen for crit rate, or you can put Sushang with REHOO for the ultimate, allowing her to do her ultimate skill combo where she's able to absolutely shred the enemies and what they're able to do. And she's skill point neutral for the most part, not really, but her E6 does give her the skill point on the normal attack or the skill when they're broken. I'm not 100% sure if that's an E6, E2, it's somewhere in our lines. But other than that, she's able to use crit rate from the Fushwen when it comes to Sushang's kit being a hybrid character, or you can also choose to use REHOO for the ultimate. And that's pretty much it when it comes to all the DPS at the current moment. And I know, as you see, that Gallagher is missing, but remember, Akron can be used for either or when it comes to them, depending on what situation you have for your characters. You can use Gallagher for sustain reasons. Also, Gallagher can work with Ratio as well. So these two have multiple options that you can substitute with. Akron can be with Gallagher with the debuff, same with Japard and Fire MC, and then same thing with Dr. Ratio. He can like Gallagher as well, just because he's able to provide those debuffs, which allow him to get his follow-up chance to be higher, make him hit a lot stronger. But as we may know, when Aventurine comes out, he's going to be the next best thing. And then Ratio, if you don't have Aventurine, well, you can put him with Gallagher. It allows for the debuffs to happen. And the same thing here as well. Dr. Ratio could also work with Fire MC and Japard. So we see at the current moment, we still have characters that can be put with other characters, and with the sustains where they're at right now. As I said before, Luocha, Bailu, March 7th, and actually that's it. Luocha, Bailu, and March 7th at the current moment don't have 100% best teammates to be able to put them with their damage dealers. Now, I said Luocha at the current moment loses to REHOO in certain situations where REHOO is able to give Dan Heng his energy and his attack boost, helping him out 100%. And if you have Sparkle, this only makes it even more so, which a lot of Dan Heng mains whether we want to, I guess you could say, notice it or not, many of the Dan Heng mains went ahead and got Sparkle because that is their best support for Dan Heng and ends up working with HoHo 100% more. Now, looking into Luocha, you have an overabundance in skill points that you do not need 100%. You're going to be maxed out at 1000%. But the more offensive nature with having Sparkle and HoHo on the team helps out Dan Heng a lot more, and you can still make this work as well with HoHo only needing Dan Heng without a Sparkle as well, because she does not need to have her cleanse up 100% of the time if you're evaporating this right amount of enemies and getting them done in a timely fashion. But Luocha does get Dan Heng at some points in the game. So going ahead, the only characters at the current moment who don't have 100% a 100% must character, because Clara, some people pointed out that you could work with March 7th, but why do that when you can also get a continuous heal and a increased taunt with Lynx, which March 7th does have, but you also have this Aventurine coming out very soon as well. So Clara has 3 options that basically, if she loves Aventurine, she's going to love Lynx, and she can be used with March 7th. But March 7th actually desynergizes that by using her ultimate, which freezes. So unless you never use March's ult, Clara would rather like Lynx or Aventurine, who are not going to interfere with that as much. So going ahead and looking at this, there are only 3 characters on the list at the current moment that do not have a pure 100% sustain that they want 1000%, and that's going to be March 7th. She doesn't have someone clearly that she needs to have on the team. Like I said, Clara can work, but then you can't use your ultimate, because if you use your ultimate, that frees the enemy, and that stops enemies from hitting you, which is a desynergistic relationship with Clara and also March 7th. Bailu at the current moment, she still can clear content with MLC 12, Pure Fiction, Golden Gears, all that different type of stuff, and can get you where you need to be. But is she a best in slot for anyone's team? No. When you look at Luocha as well, as you see that Gallagher doesn't have anyone, but as we said, you can have Akron, you can have Dr. Ratio, because they do provide debuffs, but now they also have their other respective characters if you choose to use them. But Gallagher can be used as a general sustain as well, which is really nice. Luocha, he is the king of general sustain. He will keep you alive no matter what. But when it comes to the offensive nature and also the resources that all these other characters are able to provide, because you can make the argument that Dan Heng could use crit rate from Fu Xuan and also that CC prevention, that would help quite a bit. You could also even go to the fact that you can run something like Mono Imaginary with Dan Heng, with Aventurine giving him the crit damage double buff, which is going to be absolutely huge on Dan Heng, and also keep him alive as well. There's a lot of other characters that you could go for Dan Heng, which is Fu Xuan, HoHo, Aventurine. All these characters are able to make them work, but so can Luocha help out Dan Heng, but he has so many different options. Is it even fair to say to go for Luocha when you're going for someone like Dan Heng and finding his best partner, and you're going to look at, you know, Fu Xuan rerun, or HoHo rerun, Aventurine coming out? You just wouldn't summon for Luocha at this point. So at the current moment, I just want to say, when looking at all these DPSs and all the sustains that there are in the game, there's only a couple that don't have any best in slot teams, with Lynx being able to take Blade's aggro, helping him out with his damage, and HoHo, Fu Xuan, Aventurine basically taking up the top of the list with every other single DPS character in the game. Luocha is still a good character, and so are many other D sustains at the current moment that are in this list that may not have anyone next to them for sure. But the thing is that when you're looking at someone like Luocha, with where he is in his utility with the field, the off-field heal, he also has the skill point positive nature, he also has the cleanse, he has the debuff strip. All this stuff doesn't kind of bide well with the meta that we're currently in. There's currently not many buffs that the enemies have that need to be stripped away before they even die, because a lot of these guys get evaporated by some of these best guys comps. And also looking at the SP positive nature, as you may know, a lot of the characters past 1.6 are SP positive in nature regardless. When it comes to characters like Black Swan, Ting Yun, Sparkle, Hanya makes it easy as well. You also have characters like, I'm trying to find them because I'm forgetting, Ruan Mei. All these characters are helping out with SP to the point where you don't need a overly SP positive sustain to be able to help with that. Same thing with Lynx, she's SP neutral or how she works, and you have someone like Blade on the team that though they don't use skill points at all, you're only using them for your supports, which help out quite a bit. An overly SP positive character does not need to be used at this current moment, because every character kind of has it, especially if you started day 1 all the way up until now, or even 1.1 when Luocha came out up until now. Luocha is still able to help and provides value for an account 100%. And if you have Luocha versus another sustain and you're going to look for another sustain, you don't need that other sustain in any way, shape, or form. But if you're looking at the options that you have now, when it comes to Fu Xuan, when it comes to HoHo, and when it comes to Aventurine, they offer so so much more than just keeping your team alive. All of these sustains, besides, I don't know how March 7th works in all honesty, never tried her, I'm not going to say much about her, but when you look at every sustain in this list right here, they're able to make sure that you get things done, and they're able to provide utility that gives you what you need and helps you hyperfixate on certain teams to make them perform even better. That's why characters like Luocha at the current moment and Bailu suffer, because they don't have anyone that needs their mechanics as much as these other characters like eventually REHOO and Fushun, who not only keep you alive 100% of the time, but also provide you the nasty amount of buffs that you have for these characters. So other than that, that's pretty much going to be it for this video. I hope I'm able to sway a little bit of the difference when it came to yesterday's video and now. I just had to give my explanation on how we think about this and how I see sustains in the current moment. I just want to say also as the ending note that this list at the current moment is going to be a big change when we go further on in the patches. Look at how the sustains are now and how every single sustain as they've come out have been given more utility, more after more after more, every single release. Yeah, a lot of these characters, maybe up until Fushun and REHOO and Aventurine, maybe in a year's time, might not even be the best in their situation anymore. Maybe we might get another follow-up attack character that helps out even more with healing and shielding. Maybe we might get a character who gives advanced forward in energy, or maybe Fushun, we have a character that has infinite CC prevention or something like that. They always step it up with every release. When it comes to Luocha being in the game, and then we ended up getting links after with Fushun, you already get the utility of a taunt, and you get the utility of crit rate boost and also a CC prevention. Then we go into someone like REHOO, who's giving energy and attack. Then we go into someone like Gallagher, who's able to be offensive with his break nature of being a break support or a break sustain. And then now we go into a character who's able to attack, buff, debuff, and also keep an infinite shield with being able to passively put it on based on how many attacks that your team takes. And with so much AoE in the game at the current moment, you're going to be guaranteed a shield almost every time an enemy acts after an AoE hit, which they have at every freaking stage in the game. So other than that, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know what y'all think about this. Let me know what y'all think about Luocha. Let me know what you think about Aventurine, all that different type of stuff. I 100% would love to look at the comments. If you are still debating with me, just keep it respectful, keep it clean. There was no reason to keep it the way it was yesterday. But other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. See you on the next one, and peace.